Coming up on Chapman News, impeachment hearings behind closed doors as Trump publicly calls on China to investigate Joe Biden and his son.
The Joker opens on movie screens around the world, but why are some theaters refusing to show it?
Will college athletes become the richest students on campus? A new law which allows athletes to make big money. All that and more this week on Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon, I'm Olivia Young.
And I'm Brandon Pike. Another explosive day in Washington as the White House faces sanctions for refusing to turn over documents to the impeachment committee.
Joining us is political producer Grace Papish. Grace, what's the latest?
Thanks, Olivia. New revelations from the impeachment inquiry. Hashtag Trump meltdown has been trending on Twitter all week after President Trump held tense press conferences, telling reporters he would be writing to Speaker Pelosi in response to today's subpoenas, and earlier asking China to investigate the Bidens.
Should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
The cause of the president's irritation? Possibly recovered text messages showing U.S. diplomats putting pressure on Ukraine, and the latest revelations that the Eastern European country may not have been the president's only call to a foreign government. A Monday report stated that Trump pressed Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison for information on the FBI's Russia probe. According to sources familiar with the call, President Trump requested information that could discredit FBI Director Robert Mueller's investigation into Trump's Russian ties during the 2016 election.
Look, I've had many conversations with the President, and it was a very brief conversation, and it was not one that I'd characterise as being ladled with pressure.
The administration faced further backlash when sources claimed that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was also on the July 25th call to Ukraine and interfered with witnesses. Pompeo denied knowing anything about the call last week. During the now famous call, Trump asked the Ukrainian president for a favor, information on his opponent Joe Biden's son, in return for U.S. military aid.
And we want to make it abundantly clear that any effort by the Secretary, by the President, or anyone else to interfere with the Congress's ability to call before it relevant witnesses will be considered as evidence of obstruction of the lawful functions of Congress.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has stated that due to a Senate rule, he will have to accept the impeachment case if it passes through the House.
Under the Senate rules, we're required to take it up if the House does go down that path, and we'll follow the Senate rules.
Testifying today is Michael Atkinson, Inspector General of the Intelligence Community. Back in August, Atkinson reported the whistleblower complaint to his superior, Acting Director of Intelligence Joseph McGuire, but the complaint was rerouted from Congress to the Department of Justice. The latest revelations have the country fairly divided on impeachment, with 46% supporting the inquiry, 43% opposing, and 11% remaining neutral. I'm Grace Papish. Stay informed and stay curious. Back to you guys.
One of the inquiry's most controversial players is Rudy Giuliani, who doesn't work for the government, but is often criticized for doing the president's private bidding all over the world. Kylie Miller has more.
There's nothing wrong with taking information from Russians.
There's nothing wrong with taking information.
Depends on where it came from.
As Trump's personal attorney, it is no surprise that Rudy Giuliani has been a controversial figure. Frequently getting the president into trouble with his combative and over-the-top TV interviews, the former New York mayor has been turned into a meme by some. Like this one: "I got a speeding ticket, but my attorney Rudy Giuliani pleaded it down to first-degree murder." Giuliani made a name for himself as a U.S. attorney in the 70s, taking down mob bosses and white-collar criminals. He used his tough-on-crime reputation to beat out the mild-mannered sitting mayor of New York in 1994. But it was his leadership as New York's mayor during 9/11 that earned him national admiration, even landing him the title of Time magazine's Man of the Year. And Giuliani has remained in the spotlight ever since. During the 2016 presidential campaign, Giuliani became a vocal supporter of Trump, publicly defending him after the Access Hollywood tape was released. In 2018, he became Trump's personal lawyer. Though Trump continues to defend him, Giuliani has not made life easy for the president. He sent the media into a tizzy when he stated that Trump had known about Cohen's hush money payments to Stormy Daniels, and most recently with his comments about the impeachment proceedings. I have received a subpoena signed only by Democratic chairs who have prejudged this case. It raises significant issues concerning legitimacy and constitutional and legal issues, including inter alia, attorney-client, and other privileges. It will be given appropriate consideration. And Giuliani isn't sure if he'll testify. He says it's up to his boss, Donald Trump. For Chapman News, I'm Kylie Miller.
While most of Washington has been consumed with impeachment, many politicians are sending their thoughts and prayers to Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, who has been hospitalized for a blocked artery. Doctors gave him 2 stents, a standard procedure for patients with this issue. The Vermont senator is taking a break from the campaign trail as he recovers.
11 weeks of violent anti-government protests in Hong Kong as the territory fights for democracy from mainland China. Violence escalates after Hong Kong police fired at an 18-year-old protester who is still in the hospital. Protesters and media face tear gas attacks and extreme police brutality across the nation. In attempts to curb the outrage, officials have banned masks at the protests, but activists say that this measure may only worsen the situation. Teachers in Florida will now be allowed to carry guns on school property starting this week. A bill passed by Florida State's legislature in May will give school districts the option of arming teachers and security guards. Teachers will first have to go through the Guardian program, a plan aimed to end gun violence created after the 2018 Parkland school shooting.
Victims of the 2018 Las Vegas shooting have reached an $800 million settlement with hotel owner MGM Resorts International. The deadly shooting killed 58 people, wounding hundreds of others at the Outdoor Country Music Festival. Over 4,000 plaintiffs will be receiving money from MGM, who neglected to notice the shooter stockpiled high-powered rifles and thousands of rounds of ammunition in his hotel room. This mutual agreement hopes to provide a fair compensation for the victims and their families.
Fans of the DC Comics universe have eagerly awaited the release of its newest film. Joker, the violent origin story for Batman's arch-nemesis, released in theaters earlier today. But some say the film is no joke and are concerned with the potential for real-world violence.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
In 2012, a man killed 12 at a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado during a showing of The Dark Knight Rises, a film in the same saga as Joker. The shooter told police he was the Joker when he was arrested. If this association weren't enough to make some uneasy, Joker's plot itself is troubling. The film tells the story of Arthur Fleck, a loner who turns to a life of violence and crime in order to punish society for rejecting him. But critics argue this character is a little too similar to real-world incels, or involuntary celibates, members of a misogynistic online subculture who feel a violent hatred toward women for denying them sex. Some fear the film is a rallying cry for the kind of violent uprising incels advocate online. At best, critics say the film creates the wrong narrative for the current climate of mass shootings, highlighting the plight of the white male and cultivating sympathy for those who commit mass violence. At worst, critics fear the film could actually incite violence. Some fans of the movie say the controversy is the product of an overly PC society too prone to cancel culture, and say that films, like other forms of art, should be free to explore any topic without moral responsibility. Others think the film could lead to a constructive discourse. I spoke to Chapman students to see what they thought.
From what I've heard about the controversy, I find it very interesting. I understand the one perspective where, yes, it is a white man who feels that, society has hurt him in some way, and now he's going to go and kind of enact revenge.
They're going to make whatever kind of film they want to make. If you don't agree with it, just don't go see it.
It isn't just moviegoers who have been preparing for the film's release. Many theaters have announced increased security precautions at Joker showings, with landmark theaters banning viewers from wearing costumes and masks to the film. The Century Aurora Theater, where the 2012 shooting took place, will not be showing the film at all. Even the U.S. military widely distributed warnings to service members last week about the potential for a mass shooting at Joker showings. Regardless of the controversy, Joker opens today and is expected to make between $80 and $90 million just this weekend. Fans all over the country are still headed to the theaters tonight, and critics are hoping the violence stays on screen.
Hate crimes in Orange County are rising for the 4th straight year, but one Newport Beach high school is making a difference, born out of hate found in their own backyard. Here's Michael Karabit with the story.
A backyard party made national headlines last spring when these photos hit social media. Now Newport Harbor High School is taking a hard stance against hatred with the founding of the Blaze It Forward Club, led by junior Gina Lehman.
This is not just an individual thing. This is a cultural thing that we need to change. This is not, the responsibility solely of the administrators. This is a community issue that we all need to work towards.
The OC Human Relations Commission reports that religion and sexuality are two of the biggest targets for hate crimes, as was the case with OC native Blaze Bernstein, a gay and Jewish 19-year-old who was murdered in early 2018. The Blaze It Forward Club at Newport Harbor was created with the help of Blaze's parents, who run the Blaze Memorial Fund in his honor.
This is fantastic. You're going to be a model school, and we're going to try to have this not just in Orange County. I'm thinking the entire country.
The Orange County District Attorney is continuing his pledge to make hate crimes a top priority in his office.
I want to make sure that we set examples in this county that if you engage in criminal activity associated with hate, you're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
But the Blaze It Forward Club is doing everything it can to educate people on hate before a crime even occurs.
There's only so much that, 4 or 5 people can do. It's up to us as a collective to do something about it.
For Chapman News, I'm Michael Karabit.
For more information on how to join Blaze It Forward, visit blazebernstein.org or the Blaze It Forward Facebook group.
Still to come on Chapman News, are they ways to make money or lose it? We'll look at the shady world of pyramid schemes.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
The Supreme Court announced today that it will be taking on abortion this term. The justices will be considering a Louisiana abortion case. Planned Parenthood announced its newest clinic after more than a year of secret construction. The new facility was built in secret to avoid protesters and other delays. The 18,000 square foot facility is located in southern Illinois, just 13 miles from Missouri, a state with only one abortion clinic. Planned Parenthood expects patients to access the clinic later this month.
The vaping crisis continues with now 16 people dead and more than 800 sick across the country. Doctors say that patients with this illness have tissue damage and cell death in their lungs and airways. A new report from the Mayo Clinic says injuries resemble those of toxic chemical exposure and chemical burns, similar to those from mustard gas, and the numbers continue to rise.
Los Angeles is taking a stronger stand against the use of plastic straws. Starting this week, both sit-down and fast food restaurants will only give out plastic straws if customer requests one. This ban also applies to food trucks, kiosks, and convenience stores, in an attempt to decrease plastic use. The previous straw ban only applied to restaurants with more than 26 employees.
It has been the hottest start to October all across the nation, with temperatures still in the 90s to kick off the start of fall.
Jules Rector has our weather forecast this week. Jules?
Thanks, Olivia, and a happy first week of October to everyone. It is a beautiful 75 degrees and sunny right here in the beautiful city of Orange, so make sure you take advantage of that wonderful weather and kind of hang out today outside. For our Orange County forecast, we're looking at about 78 in Westminster, super high 80 in Orange, 77 in Newport, 74 in Laguna, which is a little bit strange because usually Newport and Laguna are about the same temperature, 72 in Irvine and San Clemente. Going a little bit more north of Orange County, we're looking at 73 in Santa Barbara, 74 in Avalon and San Diego, 81 in Anaheim, 75 in Oceanside, and 78 in Los Angeles. I don't know about you guys, but I'm checking out Halloween Horror Nights this weekend, so I'll be enjoying that high of 78 in Los Angeles. And for our 5-day forecast,
It's going to be sunny today and throughout the rest of the week until Tuesday. It's going to be really beautiful. It'll get a little bit high of 86 on Monday and lows of 50s, 60s throughout the week. But it's going to be super beautiful sunny weather. I hope you enjoy this warm weather while you can. I'm Jules Rector, and have a fantastic spooky season.
The Chapman community is honoring Latinx Heritage Month with a variety of events right here on campus. Carissa Davis has the story.
No están solos, you are not alone. No están solos, you are not alone.
Detention center strikes, unjust treatment of undocumented students, and the tension between the U.S. and Mexico border are all on the rise. Latinx Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th aims to raise awareness to the ongoing conflicts affecting Latinx people. A time to celebrate the Latinx identity, but also a time to educate students on important issues affecting this demographic. We spoke with members at the Cross Cultural Center here at Chapman to see what they're doing to help honor this month. Junior Natalia Ventura is from Chula Vista, a town only 10 minutes away from the Mexico border, a border she crossed every weekend to visit family members.
We still cross the border to go to the orthodontist or go grocery shopping or just to have a day out with the family because, healthcare is cheaper down there.
She is the lead assistant of the Cross Cultural Center here at Chapman and has been organizing events for the Latinx community. Chapman held their first ever undocumented student conference last Saturday, organized by Chapman grad student Basti Lopez.
There are undocumented students at private universities. You might not hear of them, but they're there. Some of them might be working 2, 3, 4 jobs just to manage and pay their tuition. And so my question that comes to mind is, what are private universities doing to help these type of students?
Another event for Latinx Month was the Border Crisis Teach-In. It had a panel of professors educating students on the border conflicts and immigration.
In order to develop a more humane response to migration from Central America, and in order to humanize these people, we need to actually understand what's going on in these countries.
Students were encouraged to decorate bags with words of hope and compassion for the future of the Latinx community. But a common thread is that Chapman can be doing more to encourage diversity.
We have to be more intentional of how to really connect with our students, how to program and do more intentional efforts to help them.
At the end of the day, we just want to be heard, we want to be valued.
You have this talented community of potential Chapman students right here in Orange County. And so I think some steps are being made in that direction, but in the long run, less symbolic acts and more real policies.
Latinx Heritage Month will continue until October 15th. Hopefully, Chapman will begin to push for more representation for our Latinx students. For Chapman News, I'm Carissa Davis.
If you're interested in learning more about Chapman's Heritage Month programming, stop by the Cross Cultural Center in Ardros Forum.
Young people are falling prey to the long-standing traps of pyramid schemes, more and more with the rise of social media. But how can you tell the difference between an illegal pyramid scheme and a legitimate multi-level marketing company? Shannon Dominxel has more.
And allegations by critics, it's an illegal pyramid scheme.
A $1 billion lawsuit filed in October alleges it's a pyramid scheme.
Herbalife, the company that he continues to call a pyramid scheme.
Working from home, getting rich quick, being your own boss, making your own hours, these all sound like great incentives to join a company, right? Well, not all the time.
A pyramid scheme is a business model that promises payments by recruiting members, rather than supplying or selling products. The Federal Trade Commission says most pyramid schemes require distributors to keep buying inventory, despite having more than they can already sell. And in a typical pyramid scheme, a person must pay to join. So now it's a lot easier for pyramid schemes to spread quickly through apps like Venmo or Cash App.
I feel like a lot of the people that don't know about multi-level marketing just automatically assume it's a pyramid scheme.
Senior Mika Henriksen is currently a part of Monet, a multi-level marketing company that manufactures vegan, cruelty-free, and certified hair care products. Multi-level marketing companies, or MLMs, are businesses in which people sell products directly to consumers.
With pyramid schemes, they're very interested in recruiting. You know, that's how they get their money. But with Monet, we look for marketing partners.
The main difference between an MLM and a pyramid scheme is that a legitimate MLM is focused on selling products, not recruiting. It's a tricky concept sometimes, but think about it this way. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square. Pyramid schemes can take the shape of MLMs, but not all MLMs are pyramid schemes. Bottom line is, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. For Chapman News, I'm Shannon Dominxo.
The FTC recently fined Advocare International, a dietary supplement company and former MLM, for operating as an illegal pyramid scheme. The company will have to pay a settlement of $150 million.
Do you like memes? Well, so does our president. Coming up on Entertainment, we'll tell you how Trump collabed with Nickelback.
Coming up on the Best Campus Sports Show, I'll have highlights from the Dodgers' big win last night. Stay tuned.
Adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
The USA Swimming Organization is facing allegations of hiding sexual abuse claims, concealing assets, and hundreds of thousands in illegal rebates. The FBI and Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office are leading the investigation. Agents and prosecutors in New York are tracking a money trail between USA Swim and its former in-house insurance company. The USA Swimming Organization says it supports any government investigation that goes toward protecting athletes. With more on sports, we have Jared Brosnan.
Hello everyone, I'm Jared Brosnan and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. Earlier this week, Governor Newsom signed the Fair Pay to Play Act, which allows college athletes to be paid for their use of their name, likeness, and image. The bill also allows athletes to hire agents and have endorsement deals. And even though California schools won't necessarily be paying for the athletes directly, the possibility of money for athletes coming from struggling families is huge. LeBron James did not go to college particularly for that reason, and he understands other athletes' financial struggle.
I would have went off to Ohio State, or if I would have went off to any one of these big-time colleges where pretty much that 23 jersey would have got sold all over the place without my name on the back, but everybody would have known the likeness.
The new bill violates the NCAA's rule of athletes being amateurs, and they oppose the act along multiple California schools and the Pac-12 Conference. But they have until 2023 to find a solution when the bill goes into effect. It's homecoming weekend, and that means the biggest football game of the year is tomorrow. Head coach Bob Owens knows how much extra attention this game receives and has told his team not to lose focus on what is most important.
I think for us, the most important thing for us, and we've talked about it as a team, is the fact that we know that people are going to be here. We know this place is going to be, it's going to be pandemonium. We know that people are going to be excited, they're going to be screaming. But it don't mean anything if we don't come out and win the football game.
The game starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and make sure to get there early to grab a seat as a large crowd is expected. The game will also be streaming on the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network. I will be on the call alongside Nate Kelly. The Dodgers started postseason play last night, taking on the Nationals in the National League Divisional Series. It didn't take long for the Dodgers to get on the board early as Nationals pitcher Patrick Corbin walked the bases loaded and eventually gave Matt Muncy a free pass to come home. Muncy came up again with runners on in the 7th against Fernando Rodney, and look at this, Funky Muncy drives in a pair, giving him 3 RBIs on the night. September call-up, my guy Gavin Lux, the man who hit over 400 in AAA in his first postseason at bat, is going to hit a solo shot over the right center field wall. Walker Buehler was amazing. He had 8 strikeouts over 6 shutout innings. 2 batters later, after Lux's home run, Jock Peterson and his 35 regular season home runs crushes the ball. And look at this. It dents the right field foul pole. We got to make sure that thing's working tonight. Buehler, amazing again. The Nationals had only 2 hits the entire game, and the Dodgers took a 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 series. Game 2 is tonight with Kershaw taking on Steven Strasburg. First pitch is at 6:30 on TBS. The other team in LA didn't do so well this season. The Angels finished 72-90, which is their worst record since 1999. As a result, the Halos fired manager Brad Ausmus along with pitching coach Doug White and bench coach Josh Paul. Former Cubs manager Joe Maddon has been discussed as a replacement for Ausmus, but the club has not made a comment yet. The Rams took on the Seattle Seahawks for the NFC West Thursday night battle. Russell Wilson doing what he does best, making him a future Hall of Famer, going left out of the pocket to find Tyler Lockett in the corner of the end zone on an incredible catch. In the second quarter, Wilson throws a 40-yard bomb to rookie DK Metcalf, putting the Seattle Seahawks ahead right before halftime. Jared Goff, though, was able to find the Rams all the way downfield, and he found Cooper Kupp, his reliable receiver, cutting the lead to 1 heading into the locker room. The Rams got the ball first, and Todd Gurley, trying to silence doubters, busts through the pile, giving LA the lead. Back and forth we go as Wilson finds his receiver Moore on a screen for 6. Seattle takes the lead at 21-20. Gurley runs again after a great one by Gerald Everett scored his second touchdown of the game. The Seattle Seahawks decided to go for it on 4th and goal with minutes left, finding Chris Carson wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. Look at that, absolutely amazing catch. Goff, trying to get the Rams ahead, has a ball tipped by Everett into the hands of my fellow Valencia Viking alumni Tedrick Thompson. Rams did get the ball back, but Greg Zuerlein, the usually reliable kicker, is unable to give LA the win. The Seahawks move to 4-1, and the Rams lose back-to-back games for only the second time in the Sean McVay era. Another SoCal team in action last night as the NHL season began here, the Ducks taking on the Coyotes. The Ducks struck first in the first period by Derek Grant. Coyotes did respond, though, with a goal of their own by Derek Stepan. Then in the end of the second period, Cam Fowler put the Ducks up 2-1, and that wrapped things up. Ducks get the win. They play again tomorrow against the Sharks. That's the latest in sports this week. Gianna, did you know the Duffer Brothers went to Chapman?
Really? I had no idea. News on the next season of Stranger Things coming up after the break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey guys, it's Gianna back to bring you the hottest tea in entertainment this week. Get ready because we are heading back to the Upside Down.
Again? Seriously?
Yep. One food series has been renewed for its 4th season. The show's creators and fellow Chapman alum Matt and Ross Duffer have also signed a new deal with the streaming service that will include film and television content beyond just Stranger Things.
Wow. And that deal is worth 9 figures. So Matt and Ross, don't forget about where you came from, okay? There is no release date yet for season 4. But in the meantime, you can check out what's coming and going from Netflix this month.
Bad Movie, The Karate Kid, Men in Black, Ocean's 12, and TV shows Big Mouth, Schitt's Creek, Haunted, and more. But you'll have to say bye to Bring It On, Gremlins, Julie and Julia, Pineapple Express, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wait, hold on. Do you hear that?
The most beautiful sound I ever heard.
It's the sound of a West Side Story remake. Production officially wrapped this week, but we'll have to wait until December of 2020 to see it. Director Steven Spielberg shared his thoughts on recreating the classic, saying, "It has been a joyful, moving, endlessly surprising encounter with the story and score of one of the world's greatest musicals." The film will star Ansel Elgort as Tony, Rachel Zelger as Maria, and an original West Side Story cast member, Rita Moreno, playing a new role.
The rock band is only just trending online because Donald Trump tweeted this meme.
Have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head?
The meme has since been removed from Twitter after the president received a copyright claim from Warner's Music Group, and the band has yet to comment. Well, I'm still thinking about Justin Bieber, so I gotta go listen to 10,000 Hours for 10,000 Hours. Back to you guys at the desk.
It's homecoming weekend, Panthers, and there are a lot of events happening today and tomorrow. We have Shannon Dominxo on campus with what to expect. Shannon?
That's right, Brandon. I'm here on Memorial Lawn where our university program board will be putting on the Fun Zone. So from 3 to 6 p.m. tomorrow, students and their families can enjoy games, giveaways, and a mechanical bull. And it's all free. And of course, tomorrow is our homecoming game at 7 p.m. on Wilson Field. Our Chapman Panthers will be facing off against the Whittier Poets. A list of activities can be found on Chapman's website as well. Now, while y'all wrap up the newscast, I'm going to go practice my bull riding skills. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Shannon. Olivia, are you excited for this homecoming weekend?
Yes, I'm definitely going to check out the game tomorrow. Are you going?
I am going, but I'm super upset that they got rid of that chili cook-off. That was my favorite event they had.
I know, that was the best part.
I know, I'm super upset. But anyway, don't miss an episode of Chapman News. Follow our YouTube channel at chapmannews.tv and social media accounts for weekly updates at Chapman News. I'm Brandon Pike.
And I'm Olivia Young. Have a great weekend.